Right, hello there, lads. So today we're going to have a look at how to do some data analysis using Python. So first of all, I'm going to show you an Excel. Now, this is a very special type of Excel called CSV file. So the main difference between this and an Excel file is that this is saved without the columns, without all the formatting, and the way it's saved is one simple file with just commas between each. So there'll be a comma between the index and the date and that, and there'll be a comma between the 0 and that. Everything would have a comma between them, and that allows it allows it to be read very quickly rather than have to go through all the formatting. So this is a file that I've worked on before. It's phone records. So we have an index of the number of records, we have the date, we have the duration of the call, we have the type, whether it's data or call or SMS, we have the month it happened in, the network, and the type of network. Okay, so what you're going to be doing is you're going to have to get your own version of these. It could be anything, could be death records, it could be weather, it could be anything you want, but you'll be using this. So let's go into Tawny, open a Python file, and see how we can take all this data and bring it in to the Python environment. So to start this off, we're going to be using something called Pandas. Very popular Python extension that allows you to do data analysis. Very, very powerful. Now, the first thing I'm going to say to you is I'm not sure whether I have Pandas already installed on this. So I might have to actually install it. Even though I'm importing it, it might still need to be installed. So I'll show you how to do that in a second. But here's a little tip. When you're importing something, if the name of the thing you're importing is long or you don't want to be typing this, you can reassign it a name. I'm going to reassign this is just PD. So going forward, anywhere down in my code where I have to call pandas, I'll just call it PD. So it'll work. So let's run this and see what happens. Okay, no pandas found. So that means I need to add in pandas. So I go into Tools, Manage Packages, and I search for pandas. Hopefully it has it. It could be slow today. Searching for pandas. Hopefully I can find it. Okay, couldn't find, try it again. Don't worry, I have another way of doing this if this doesn't work. Okay. Usually what will happen is you get a load of options here and it'll work. No, nothing there. So it's not working that way. I might turn off my VPN. Try it again. And there we have it. VPN always causes trouble. So there's Pandas. I'm going to install it. So I'll have to do this for everything I import, but that's no problem. It's a good thing to be able to do. So it's not responding, so that could cause a trouble. But again, once you get over these initial teething errors, you'll fly at this. Okay, that's in. So I'll run it again, and I shouldn't get the error again. Yeah, perfect, no error. So import panel. We're all going to import something called NumPy. Okay, NumPy again is a statistical package. We're going to call that NP going forward. That way we don't have to keep writing NumPy. Okay, again, I'm going to run it to make sure I have it. If I don't, oh, I do have that one. Brilliant. So I don't have to worry about that one. I'm also going to import, because I did notice in my CSV file, if I have a look back at it, I did notice there was a load of dates. And if I want to do anything with regards to time, I need to import something that will help me deal with time and all the different formats that can come in. It's going to import date time. I'm not going to bother changing that. And then I'm also going to import something because I want to plot some. I'm going to that. Now there's other versions of this. And again, as you go through your project, this is just to help me plot any data, but there's other, you don't have to use Matplotlib, there's other probably more modern ones. I'm just used a bit old school, I like to use this. So let's get the data in. So we're going to assign the data I bring in to a variable. So pandas read CSV file. the, what do we call it, phone data, I think it was, phone underscore data dot CSV. If this doesn't read in, we'll know the error because we've done reading in things before, and usually the error is that it's not in the same location. Okay, no matplotlib lib, so I'm going to have to, now this time instead of doing the tools manage, I'm going to show you a different, I'm actually going to open the shell and I'm going to do a pip install. It's another kind of old school way. This is a kind of old school. This is the way I would have learned when I first saw a computer. So there you go. It looks like kind of Mr. Robot type of stuff, but that's literally what this is. This is kind of real basic stuff. So it's going to take a minute to install it all for me, but it will install it, which is pretty cool. There it is, that's installed. Just run that again. Yeah, errors. Okay, yeah, okay, can't find, so that error's come up now because I haven't put, let's see, where is it? Right, let's see, does it work now? Donnie. Okay, I'm not getting an error. So that has worked. Let's just clear off that shell. So far so good. We've got all the data in. Now, let's see what we have. Let's print the data. Well, not print it all because I could take, if this is like huge, let's just print the headers. And let's just print 3 lines. It should give us the top of each column and what's inside. Now there we have it. It's telling us the headers and the first 3 lines of data. So we now at least know what type of data we can see what we're dealing with here. Okay, so that's your first little trick. If you want to see what you're dealing with without having to open up the CSV file, that'll tell you what's there. Okay. You want to know the data types because sometimes it might look like it's a string, but it's actually a, an integer or a float. You can always just go data dot types. DYPES. That should tell you the data types of everything. Right, it's telling you index is a number, date is an object, duration is a float, time is, the rest of them are all objects. Okay, so objects tend to be strings, stuff like that. Okay, so at least it's telling you what everything is, which is pretty cool. So now that we have that done, we're gonna, again, depending on the data you have, but I know from doing this before that this data, the date in this data isn't in a good format. So if I look at the date there, look, it's got these lines in between them. That's useless to me. I can't really I can't do stats on that, so I need to actually change the date. But this is going to make it easy. But this is going to change it into a form that'll actually be able to be manipulated. Just run that to make sure. Okay, something I've made a mistake there. Line 9. F module pandas no name. Has no to data. Date time. Run that again. Should ignore it. Error should be gone. Error is gone. So that's all that's done there. And don't worry, I'll send you this seed file anyway. This is just turned those dates into a form that I can use. Simple as that. Okay. Now I'll print it again. Just see what happens when I do it again. Okay. So now date, look at the date, how it's changed. It's gone from being a string or an object into a date time. So you can see the difference now. It's not an object anymore. It's actually something that can be used. It can be analyzed, basically. So let's have some fun now with this. So I'm going to try now pull out the hour of each call. Okay. So let's try that. Print the data dot date. Let's try this. See what happens. Now let's run this. It should work. There we go. So there you have it. There's the date or the day of each call. Now you're wondering, why is it there 2 to 4? Pandas assigns the day starting 0 for Monday and 6 for Sunday. So same way as it does indexes. So that's 2, that's a Wednesday. And again, you can just use the, a loop. So whenever you see a 2, replace it with a Tuesday. Why doesn't it do the Tuesday? Don't ask me why, but it doesn't. Okay. So there's a quick way of finding that. Now, this is the next one. This is a really cool one. So we're going to create a variable called group, and we're going to group data. So if I go back and look at my data sheet, we're going to take groups of the data. So for example, all the ones on the 15th, and we'll assign them to, well, what happened on the 15th, that type of thing. So we're going to group the data. So data dot group by, and we're going to group things by network to see how many were belonging to each network. It's a really cool thing. It'll count everyone that's Vodafone, everyone that's whatever. Okay. So that'll do that. And then let's see, that's taken all that data and it's grouped it by network. Let's do something even better with it. You can print that off, I suppose. And we'll get the duration. Sorry, duration. Duration. And we'll throw the mean on that. Getting the extra. Now, let's print that one. See what happens. There you go. Meteor, that's the average. Tesco, that's the average. There you go. There's all the I don't know what word, it must be some type of provider. But there's all the providers and the average length, because I got the mean length. Okay, so that's what I've done there, which is pretty cool. So all I've taken is I've grouped it into network, put all the networks and everything associated with those networks, and then take the duration and got the mean. Brilliant. So finally, let's plot something. Plot bar graph. Now we'll take some data from the network. Data network. We'll also plot duration. So this is like this is my two variables that go into the bar chart along the x-axis, along the y-axis. I will just show this. See what happens. And there we have it. Make that a bit bigger. Now, of course, you can go around and change colors and all that type of stuff. But then you put a label on the y, label on the x. You can do any type of plot you want, but there you have it. So obviously landline, this is a bit of old data. Landline was still very important back in the old data. Right, so listen, that's it. I'm going to send this seed code to you. I'll hashtag everything so you know exactly what every line does. And there's a good basis. You can use it with any CSV file. Just play around with it. Okay? Thanks.